Good evening, everyone. This is Mrs. Burns from Riverview. I'm with you tonight. For your lesson tonight for math, you're going to need a pencil, a math notebook, your 3-subject notebook, your red or pink student workbook, a pair of scissors, and a ruler. If you don't have that at this time, please pause the video and go get those materials. The lesson we're going to work on tonight is, oops, Smartboard's not working with me, is Unit 2, Lesson 4, continuing with finding areas. But tonight we're going to work on finding the area of any kind of triangle, identifying the height of any triangle, and also being able to recognize that the area of a triangle is always 1/2 the area of a parallelogram, like in the lesson you did before this, with the same base and height. A few things for your vocabulary section, which should be that very first section of your 3-subject notebook. Just to be sure you have it, you're going to be having a lot of formulas thrown at you in the next few lessons and in the next units. So I want to make sure you remember and have it written down the area of a triangle. If you need to, draw what a base is and a height is, like I have in your notes. If you don't need it, you don't need to put it down. If you do, pause the video, get these in your notes in your vocabulary section, and then restart the video. Actually, before you turn to page 69 in your red student books, I want you to turn to page 68 in your red student books, and you'll see that you have 2 sets of triangles. The first set at the top, there are 2 acute triangles. What I would like you to do is to cut those out and then put them together like you see in your notes on that page. The reason I'm asking you to do this, when you cut them out and you put the sides together, you should see that these 2 still form that parallelogram when they're put together. Same with the 2 at the bottom. When you take the obtuse triangles and when you match them together, they should also form a parallelogram. If you like practice in visualizing that, please cut those out, pause the video, do the activity, and then restart it, and you'll be starting with page 69. If you're not at page 69, pause the video and turn to page 69. On this page, we're going to work with finding the area of triangles. Remember, the area of a triangle is base times height, and then divide that in half, or divided by 2. I want you to start by looking at the top. It says, for number 1, how does the area of the shaded triangle compare to the area of that parallelogram? If you look at that picture real quickly, and that's similar to what I have up on the board now, you'll notice that the shaded triangle is really half of the area of the parallelogram. Keep that in mind, and that may help you as you're trying to figure out the area of these items. Let's skip down to number 3, and again, if you need to, rewrite the equation for finding the area of a triangle. And remember, area, oh, my things are not working. Let's try that. Area, there we go. Oh, my smartboard's funky. Of a triangle is equal to 1/2 times the base times the height. Okay. You'll also see it written this way. Area equals base times height, and then divided by 2. Sometimes you'll see the division symbol like this if we can't make it on the board. So get that written in, and then let's skip down to problems 4 and 5. If you look at problem number 4, and we're dealing with the the parallelogram that you see in front of you. Now, if we look at that, we need to figure out what the area is. Now, the base, and I'm just going to circle it in red, this is your base, and the height is here, this dotted line. Okay. So remembering what you know, what is the area of this parallelogram? And remember, don't just go with the one side, you have to do both sides. So we know base is 4, height is 3, and since it's a parallelogram, it's just base times height, and that would be 12 centimeters squared, or 12 squared centimeters. Okay, now cutting that in half, again looking at base and height, what is the area of just the shaded triangle using those same dimensions? Again, the area of a triangle equals base, which is 4, times height, which is 3, and then divided by 2, or that 1/2. So we've got 4 times 3 is 12, divided by 2 is 6, and then you have to put your labels down, squared centimeters or centimeters squared. Either one is acceptable. Let's keep moving. Okay. Now we're going to look at page 70. If you turn to page 70, you'll also notice that, and if you need to, you can add this to your information, just to remind you of some different triangles. Remember, acute triangles are less than 90 degrees, and I put on there, think of like a really small bird beak, a real small angle. A right triangle, think of that L shape we usually make with our fingers. It's right, it's perfect. It's 90 degrees. It usually has that box by it to help you figure that out. And then there's obtuse, which means more than 90 degrees, but not 180, which is almost halfway around a circle. And I put on there as a note to try to help visualize it. Think of it like a large crocodile mouth, open real big and wide and kind of funny looking. That's an obtuse triangle. Because what you're asked to do here on page 70 is, first of all, figure out the area and then tell what kind of triangle that might be. So let's take a look at number 9. Let's see if my highlighter will work. Nope. Okay, I'm having some smartboard troubles. Wait, let's try that again. Okay, we'll just do this. So looking at 9 again, see if that's going to be funny. Nope. We're going to do our area, which is base times height. So we have, and now we're triangles, so remember what we need to do. Base times height, so that's 24 divided by 2, because remember the area is base times height, and then either divided by 1/2 or divided by 2. So this one is 12 centimeters squared. This should be a review from last year, so hopefully you're understanding it. And now if we're looking at this, looking at my notes on the side, what kind of triangle is this? Is it really small and cute, like a little baby bird with our angle? And this is the angle we're talking about? Or one of the angles, I should say. Is it right, like a perfect L? It's looking like that to me. Here's that perfect L. So this is actually, and I'm abbreviating, a right triangle. Okay, I think I'm getting it. Let's look at number 10. See if I can get rid of that. So we know area, base times height divided by 2. And if you need to, in your books, keep writing it so you get it. And actually, let me change that. So we know the area of a triangle, base times height divided by 2. Base times height divided by 2. So look at 10. Base, 6. Height, 7. 6 times 7, 42. 42 divided by 2. So my area is 21 squared centimeters. But now, what kind of triangle would this be? It's not that perfect L, because that would be on the edge for me. So I know it's not acute, or excuse me, I know it's not right. It's not this huge big angle. This must be an acute, because it's kind of that small angle. It's got all these little itty bitty angles. All right, let's look at 11. If you're understanding this, please go faster than I am. I'm just going to do a few more, and then I'm going to write the answers in so you can pause and check if you would like. So look at 11. Ooh, this is a strange one. Remember, with these really big angles, you're allowed to make that height for yourself so you can figure it out. So again, the area of a triangle, base times height divided by 2. So here's my base, 8 times 5 is 40. 40 divided by 2 is 20 centimeters squared. And then what kind of angle is this? Is it cute like a little L? Or like a, excuse me, like a baby bird? Or is it got that right L shape? Or is it obtuse and big, like a big crocodile mouth? It looks big, obtuse. So we've seen the 3 different angles. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to ask that you pause and finish 12, 13, and 14. Restart the video and I'm going to have the answers written up for you. Here's 12. Area equals 18 squared centimeters. And this has these teeny tiny little angles. So it's a cute. It's super cute. Oh, maybe if I spelt it right, it'd be even better. Cute. Okay, 13. How do we figure this out? Well, what's our base and what's our height? I need to learn how to flip it. So this is my base. This is my height. So we have 4 times 3 is 12. 12 divided by 2. Area is 6 centimeters squared, or squared centimeters. And then this is a right angle because you can see if you turn it, it forms that perfect L. I'm just going to abbreviate. And then finally 14. I need to find your base and height. So if we flip this, which I can't on here, but here's my base, here is my height. So 6 times 4 is 24. Area equals 12 centimeters squared, or squared centimeters. And then this is an acute. Oh my gosh, I can't spell tonight. Acute. These tiny little angles in between. All right, a few more and you're almost done. Now if you would turn to page 72. We're just going to find a few other things here, and you may want to use your ruler for this. I'll do my best to draw mine straight. But if you had to figure out the areas of some different shapes with parallelograms and triangles, this is one way you could do it. So with your ruler, you're going to need to measure what the book says. So you're going to measure and label side A and D. So you're going to take your ruler and measure from A to D. And you should roughly get 6 centimeters. Then you're going to measure and label your height, which this is your height. I'm going to put in green. So you're going to go from B down to here, and that should be 3 centimeters, I believe. 3 centimeters. Now you need to figure out the area, meaning how much you can put in, of the parallelogram. So that's dealing with A, B, C, and D. Remember, area is for the parallelogram is just base times height. 6 times 3. Area is 18 centimeters squared, or squared centimeters. So there's our area. Now let's step it up a little bit. If you look at 25, now we're going to join points D and B and then name these 2 types of triangles. So I'm going to take my ruler and go from B to D. So now I can look at it and try to figure out, what kind of triangles are these if I join these together? Let's name our triangles. So my first triangle will be triangle A, B, D. Here's my first triad. So A, B, D is my first triangle. And then my second triangle will be D, B. So I've got these 2 triangles. Now if I looked at them, how could I figure out the area of each of those? Because they look exactly the same, because if you remember from before, half of that shaded piece equaled the whole parallelogram, or half of what the area was. So if we know that the area of this parallelogram was 18, what would half of 18 be? You got it, 9 squared centimeters. All right, that is it for today. Please review and rewind if you need to, but when you're ready, go ahead and click on the Take Quiz section. Be sure to put this in your quizzes section and label it Unit 2, Lesson 4, and then today's date. We'll see you another time. Have a great night.